Hi Henry, thanks
Hey,
for
Ryan.
taking the time out to come to the training. Chris has given me 30 minutes, so what I'm hoping to do in the next 30 minutes is just introduce the cold calling techniques that we've talked about previously, and make it easier for you to get those sales and calls through into locked appointments. How does that sound?
Yeah, fine.
Right? So what is the most important components of your role currently, Henry?
To obviously get the appointment.
And where do you get your leads from now to make the calls?
Pretty much from references from certain people I know.
Okay, so you've got some sort of colleagues and contacts and the like. We'll talk about that more in detail later. How helpful would it be for you if we could make the whole process a lot easier and a lot warmer?
Yeah, great.
Okay, so it's going to take about 30 minutes. Please stop any time for questions. Any questions are great questions. So the agenda basically is we'll be running through cold calling, how to build a contact list. We'll have some time for some role plays and some practical examples so you can practice some of the techniques we're going to talk through. And by the end of the session, you should be able to develop your own target list. I see you've brought one with you, which looks pretty extensive there, Henry. I can see it's got names, phone and email. Is that normally the information you would get?
Yeah, for a business
Not much.
I'd want to call, yeah.
Yeah, not much more than that. So let's have a look at your target list. So if you've been handed this today from Chris, what would you normally go through as soon as you get the list? What sort of stands out to you on the list?
The mobile number first before a landline,
So you prefer a mobile number, great. Yeah, why would that be?
just so you're speaking to the person you want to get to first.
Yeah, excellent. And what else would you be looking for on that list?
Just business name, whatever type they are, and how they're related to obviously.
Okay.
Business.
So you've obviously got a target market that you need, some sort of minimum benchmarks that you need to meet for the business that you're in. Talk those through to me. What are the minimum benchmarks that you need for a business that's going to be a great customer for you?
Firstly, they'd have to have employees, obviously, because what I'm selling helps the business with employees.
Yeah. Is there a minimum number of employees, Henry, that you have to?
No.
No.
No,
So.
it could be zero, depends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they just need to have employees, and we need to be speaking with directors.
Okay. So obviously in front of you, you've got a business name which is not telling you a huge amount, maybe a little bit of information, and a phone number. So what do you do? Do you just go straight in and start phoning when you get the list?
Yeah, so I'd speak to the reference first, and he would tell me who he's the closest with.
Okay.
And then he would message them first for me.
Okay.
And then from there, I'd speak to them after his conversation with them.
Yep.
So that's why some have mobiles.
Okay. So what about when you haven't had a reference? So you've run out of all your references and your referral networks, and you've just given a list like you've got in front of you of businesses. What more do you do with the list? Or
So
what
just
can
a
you do?
cold call.
Yeah.
I look up the business names and then find businesses that are close to each other.
Yep.
Hopefully you just then get one of them, and then if they know the other businesses surrounding, then that creates it to be warmer.
Yep. Okay.
it's
So
better.
when you say you look at the business, what do you physically do? What sort of systems do you go into to look them up?
Just find ones that's not the trading name, so ones that's the actual retail store name, and that will be in Google.
Oh, you just go into Google?
Yeah.
Any other search tools that you use or engines that you use?
Nah, not at all. Just
No.
Google, because then there's different websites.
Have you had a
on
look
there.
at business name searches? It's a free service that's available.
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, well we'll have a look at that later. But what it gives you access to, it will give you the trading name, the ACN. You familiar with an ACN, ABN?
ABN.
Yep. The same applies. It's a company number as opposed to a business registration number. And it generally gives you their turnover, number of employees, a little bit of a snapshot of the business sometimes. You can go a little bit further into it and go into another screen and it'll give you the directors' names. So would that be helpful to you?
Yeah, how would they measure the turnover?
Because all companies have to lodge their financials each year with the ATO, and it comes from that information.
So it'd be like a yearly turnover difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
not
yeah.
like instantly.
No. So it would be the previous financial year, so June to June. But it will give you an idea of the turnover. Will give you an idea of the size of the business. So if it's turned over $500,000, you'll get a sort of feel for what kind of business that would be, looking at what you've discovered on Google. But then it will let you know whether it's in a growth industry. So you could look at the previous 2 or 3 years and see if it's growing.
Yeah.
So that's another tip for you. So what other sorts of groups? So you've told me you've got on your circle of influence, you've got colleagues who refer you deals. Who else is on your circle of influence who refers you deals?
So when I said that, I meant whenever I speak to a business, I would ask them what business
so
owners
you
they would
immediately
know. So it's
ask-
not colleagues, it's them.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously, once I spoke to them and they like what I've shown them,
Yeah.
they obviously think it's really good, so they would want all other business owners that they know
Oh, okay.
to benefit from it as well.
So you're saying it's like a closed deal that you've already had. You've already had the appointment with the business.
No, straight away from the appointment.
Straight
So
away.
like, obviously we're going to do this for you. Do you know any other business owners you think could benefit from it? Obviously you see the benefit in it yourself. And I'll just go from there.
Okay.
So
So are you
opens,
looking
yeah,
for like industries, or are you just looking for any
No,
any
any
kind
business.
of referral?
any business, yeah,
Okay.
any small business.
Okay. So you mean you're on a traineeship, so you aren't going to be a BDM. What other ways could you expand your referral network outside of just getting referrals from a client you've done business with? What other sort of contact sources do you think you should be investigating?
I'd utilise the BDMs themselves that are already there.
Yep.
And ask for, obviously not still the referrals they have, but look at the markets that they're using.
Yep.
And how they got those referrals in the first place. That could be from attending events and things like
Yep.
that. business
Excellent.
events.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably, to start off, that would have to be the first point.
Yeah.
And then, just like with this, finding a business and asking who would they know and who else they think would
Yeah.
benefit from it.
Do you have much contact with business brokers or financial brokers or anything like that in your?
Yeah, so we speak a lot to accountants, insurance brokers, and
Yeah.
they're only utilised for that.
Yeah. What's the positives of dealing with accountants, do you think?
Yeah, so they would just only be speaking to business owners.
Yeah.
You speak to a small accounting firm, then they're going to be dealing with small businesses.
Yeah.
And they get great benefit out of it themselves by referring businesses.
Yeah.
So their clients will I know that their clients get the best possible prices as well.
Yeah. What other benefits is it for the accountant? Because as you know, with selling, there's always got to be a win-win. So what's the other benefit to an accountant if they actually refer their customer to you? Do you think?
So their client would get the best price.
Yeah.
So because they've referred that client to us, rather than that client finding us without the accountant,
Yeah.
and that's a benefit as well. And then the fact that the accountant would have an idea that he looks really good.
Perfect. Yeah, that's spot on. So it's all about advocacy and the ability of the accountant to actually value add to their customer. And obviously it's a reciprocal thing, so no doubt you'll come across businesses who maybe mention they're not happy with their accountant, and you're able to refer them to the accountant who potentially is referring you, and it's sort of, a constant flow of business. So what else is there? We've talked about accountants, we've talked about brokers, we've talked about colleagues. Is there anything else where you get potential future business from?
Yeah, other than that, it would have to just be cold calls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't know actually a different avenue from that.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I mean, you as I say, you're just new to business. Eventually, you'll have a massive network of people. But whether you go into industry-specific type functions and organisations, that will always help you being an expert in a particular industry. So talk about cold calling. So how do you currently make your cold calls a little bit warmer? As you know, the best sales come from warm calls. So how do you currently make your calls a bit warmer?
Obviously like referring, asking a business, but obviously to get the first one, that's where it's tough.
Yeah.
So once you get the first one, I would target an area that there's a lot of businesses around,
Yeah.
and hopefully the idea would be a rural area,
Yeah.
not like a big city area. That way most business owners would converse with each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just about like getting the first one, and then the rest will fall into place.
Okay. Have you ever thought about actually doing something? I know your role is money on the phone at the moment, but have you ever thought about, you know, going out and about and walking down a street and seeing what you can pick up that way?
Yeah, that's been something that, you know, once the targets, I think, would start to get hard to hit.
Yeah.
Obviously, this role right now, the targets are quite easy.
Yeah.
I know it would help me in the long run, but, you know, the targets to hit right now, I think I could do it.
Yeah.
But once, you know, the targets increase and the role gets tougher, that's something I'd have to think about.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you've obviously got business cards, if you drop out business cards, it can also help you with a call as well, because you're not making a cold call. Hi, I'm Henry Worthington. It's hi, I'm Henry. I dropped a card out to you yesterday. Have you got time for a chat or whatever? Yeah. So let's talk about cold calling and planning the call. How do you plan your call at the moment?
Yeah, gather as much information as possible.
Yeah.
Hopefully look at their website and find one that's at least got a bit of information about them.
Yeah.
That way you've got a name and you're not just, calling and asking for who would be the best person to speak to.
Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to create a lot of personality in the call, so it's something that they'd want to listen to.
Yeah.
Before even wanting to know what it's about. Yeah.
So you've basically got a strategy in your head. Do you use a script or anything like that?
Yeah, try and obviously...
I know the business has got scripts which they've shown me.
But yeah, with the scripts obviously it's different. Every person's will be quite different. It's just would be a lot of trial and error. Figuring out what works with certain different business owners as well. Yeah. Have you heard the term getting through the gatekeeper in your business? So have you got a strategy around getting through the gatekeeper? Yeah, there's a few different ones that I know about. You could be quite rude to bigger businesses.
Would you want to just expand on that point?
So by being rude, I mean just quite blunt.
Yeah.
And it's a certain level of dominance in your tone that makes them think that he must know this person. Yeah. And then with your smaller businesses, you've got to be quite nice, as the gatekeeper might be a decision maker themselves, might be related, might be anything. So that's the two different things I'd use. Yeah, and that's what you've currently been practicing and using at the moment. Yeah. And how successful has that been for you? I haven't had too much luck with obviously the blunt approach, but that's, I haven't called that many people. Do you have a hook? With a gatekeeper? Yeah. No, I've never tried to think of a hook with a gatekeeper. Do you want to maybe talk through that, what a potential hook could be? Any ideas? Gatekeeper? No, not too sure. You could create a bit of fear by... actually I couldn't think of a hook. Yeah. No, what about, do you have a pitch? What's your pitch when you open your call? To the gatekeeper? Yeah. Well, you don't potentially know that it is the gatekeeper. I mean, a small business, it could be the actual decision. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that's why straight away I guess I'll just have to ask who would be the best person to speak to if I don't know the name. Is this something you deal with for the business? If no, if yes, move on from there. So if no, then can I please speak to who would? Yeah. But if it is then obviously it's no longer the gatekeeper. Okay. And what's your point of differentiation? What do you mean by that? Well, what makes you different from your competitor phoning up? Someone else who's in my same team? Yeah. No. In a like industry to you. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think you mentioned ANZ has got a proposition which is a competitor to you. Yeah. 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 So what makes you different from the guy from ANZ ringing 10 minutes later? Oh, okay. In regards to what I'm selling or myself? You getting through the gatekeeper. You getting the buy-in to take it to the next step. I'm not sure. So you talked about you've been given scripts and pitches. Yep. Do you adapt that? Do you read it or? It'll be tough because I don't know. It's just sort of just try and create a lot of different a personality that I want to listen to. That's pretty much my main thing. All right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do now. We'll just practice a couple. We'll make a couple of calls, and then I'll give you some feedback as to how you went after the call. How does that sound? Is that okay? Okay. All right. So. You're Henry in the business, and I'm obviously whoever I am playing, which first role play will be a receptionist. Okay, so
You're making the call to me, so away you go.
Hello?
No, you're actually making the call. So
Okay. Oh, right, yeah.
You
okay.
are Henry ringing me up to try and get an appointment with me.
With you as the gatekeeper.
I am the gatekeeper in this one, yeah.
So, well,
You don't know I'm the gatekeeper though, so you professionally make a call to me as you would in the office.
Right.
So you get the first one off your list. Who are we here? We're going to be Hathaway's Lubricants.
Yep, sure. Hi, is Ketut there?
Katut, no, he's not available at the moment.
Oh, okay. Do you know when he might be available?
Who's calling?
It's Henry from EmploySure.
Who are you?
Spoke to Ketut last week.
Who are you?
Henry from EmploySure.
Yeah, Frank hasn't mentioned anything. I'm not sure when he's due back.
Frank.
Katut, sorry.
Yeah. So I just spoke to him last week. We sent a few emails to each other. He asked me to give him a call. Do you know when he might be available?
No, as I said, I'm not sure. He was out and about for the rest of the week. I've got no idea.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what I'll do, I'll try and email him and get that mobile from him.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Thank you.
Okay. So, how'd you go then?
Well, yeah. So obviously he's not in, so there's no like he would be the director to speak to.
Yeah.
So in the role, I guess from what I think the role we're doing, I can't be wasting time.
Yeah.
On myself. So if he's not there, I'll move on to the next one. I've still got his email, and as mentioned, we have been emailing each other.
Yeah. Okay. Is that how you'd normally behave in that situation?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go any harder on that gatekeeper?
Nah, because once it's obviously you can't tell if they're telling the truth or not, right? So there's no point me burning this whole lead, and she talks to someone saying, "Oh, I told him you weren't there, and he said you should be there, and you quite weren't there," and things like that.
So at the end of the day, you've just had a series of those. How is your day going to feel at the end of the week? If you've just had a series of gatekeepers saying, not available, not available, not available.
Well, yeah, with this lead, so we've got mobiles, we've got emails and things like that. Of course, that would be horrible, but there's no point me talking to a gatekeeper with what I'm trying to sell.
Well, could you have possibly found out more about the gatekeeper?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I probably could.
The gatekeeper could have been Katut's wife,
right.
who is, as you know, like small business, the female owner is equally as important to the male, sometimes more so when the decision-making process comes out. So don't be probably as dismissive and as quick to move on will be my feedback on that one.
Yeah,
okay?
You're right.
All right, so role play 2, the business owner is comfortable with the current provider but wouldn't mind a second opinion. Okay, so that's sort of your scenario. So who do you want to use here?
It could be Tamara from AMP Control.
Tamara, okay. So you're ringing me up, okay?
Yeah, and it's just a cold call as well. And just the outcome is that?
Yep.
Okay, sure.
Potentially. I might take a few twists and turns just to, challenge you a little, if that's all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, is Tamara there?
Yeah, Tamara speaking.
Tamara, it's Henry from EmploySure. How are you going today?
Yeah, good. Great.
Tamara, yeah, that's good to hear. Tamara, I was just wondering, obviously I'm from EmploySure. Have you heard of EmploySure by any chance?
Yeah, we have a similar service with ANZ, and they were out to see us last week.
Oh, so you do know, so you obviously have heard of EmploySure then?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so the service you have with ANZ, how's that compared to EmploySure? What do they do?
I think, obviously I don't know the full details of what you could provide at this point, but yeah, ANZ's been good, but I'm in business, I like to know I'm getting a good deal, so I'd like to hear what you've got to offer.
Oh, right, straight away, okay, that's good to hear. Alright, well look, the reason for the call, good news, we actually hold complimentary meetings where we, show businesses our service, and yeah, we are the market leading service in Australia in this type of work. So what I could do for you is actually get someone to see you and actually run you a bit of a comparison. Wouldn't cost you anything. It would just mean your business, like you just mentioned, is getting the best possible
Sounds great.
thing for this thing. Would you be available Monday 2 p.m?
Absolutely, yeah.
Alright, fantastic. I'll send you an email, and if anything comes up, just reply to the email. We can rearrange that.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. Perfect. That was really good, Henry. Really good. Why do you think that was really good?
Well, the buy-in from your end was immediate.
I was a pretty easy customer. Yeah. So your key then was to actually lock me in, which is what
Yeah.
you did. So you locked me in with a date and a time.
Yeah. So it's pretty much straight away what would work for you.
Yeah.
Name a time. If that doesn't work, name another time.
Okay.
Then name another time for that. And then if not, what would work for you?
Okay. Probably the only thing I would add to that situation is, are you meeting me? Where are we meeting?
Yeah.
Are you coming to me or am I coming to you? As a business owner, it's really important that you're coming to me.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I could have done
Yeah.
that a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. But but the fact that you actually locked in a day and a time was really good.
Yeah.
As opposed to when are you free next week? So yeah. Okay. So role play 3 is leaving the door open. So the business owner is not interested in meeting right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
We'll just do the same. Hi, is that tomorrow?
And we're doing tomorrow again?
Yeah, do you want us to do a different name? Hi, is that Sharon?
Hi, yeah, Sharon speaking.
Sharon, how you going today? It's Henry from Employ Shore.
Oh, hey Henry, had a good week?
Yeah, great. Thanks for asking. Sharon, I was just giving you a quick call. Speaking to a lot of businesses down your street this week. Are you familiar with Employ Shore?
I think so. I think some other guy has called me previously about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay. So how'd that call go?
Oh, it just all seemed a little bit hard, to be honest with you. It seemed to, I had to have meetings and all kinds of stuff, and I'm just so busy at the moment.
Oh, really?
It's leading up to Christmas, obviously. It's just, it's just so busy.
Yeah, we're speaking to quite a few businesses, in the same boat. I mean, Christmas is a very tough time. My dad actually runs a post office, so yeah, he's having a horrible time. But yeah, alright, well look, if it is too busy, would you have an email? I'll leave you some stuff and maybe give you a bit of a call in the new year?
Yeah, I suppose you can do that. Bear in mind, we generally take a long break over Christmas to take the kids away for the holidays and whatnot. So, you can do if you want to.
Yeah, okay. Well, before I do that, I mean, what exactly did you know about Employ Shore? Just so I got all the right information in that email.
Look, I haven't really got time at the moment. I must say we're really busy with Christmas and I've got a queue in the shop here. So, I haven't really got time to chat.
That's all right, yeah. Business is business. So look, I'll leave you that email. I'll give you a call in the new year. But yeah, if you do have some time in between, then don't hesitate to reply to that email.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds
All
like a plan.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, Henry. Okay, so break that call down. What did you do well then?
Well, no, what I did wrong, which was once someone said they're busy, I would have irritated them a little bit once they mentioned I'm busy. That last question wasn't too necessary. Pretty much just left the door open for another call.
Yeah, you certainly left the door open, which was good. I think things that probably could lift and improve on was your listening. So I think you ended up saying you're going to book an appointment for the new year, where Sharon had already told you she was going away for the school holidays with the kids. So the new year to her is actually February.
Yeah.
When she gets back. So I think it's just being able to actually listen what the person's saying, as opposed to being so quickly to move on. I think would be the tip on that one.
Didn't I say I'd just give her a call in the new year though?
Yeah, but when's the new year?
Yeah,
New year is the 1st of January.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So if you're listening, you acknowledge what the person's saying. You say, have a good holiday.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll catch you in February when the kids go back to school, when it be quieter. So it's that listening sort of techniques there. So I've heard you a couple of times with your opening line and your Employ Shore. Do you want to this is just the last one here. Can you just run that through me again as your opening line?
Just say hi, is that Philip? Philip needs to know. Philip's is Henry from Employ Shore. How you going today?
Yeah. And you wait for that response?
Yeah, wait for that response and then straight away, have you heard of Employ Shore?
Yeah.
If it's no, then it's just a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Then you start pitching, start explaining the service.
Yeah.
But if yes, then
so you sort of go in really with a very close question.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Employ Shore? So you know whether you're on that camp or that camp, which is a good technique to use.
Yeah, so I know exactly what type of call it's going to be.
Yeah.
Whether it's I need to fix the Employ Shore brand or just build on it. They might have heard great things.
Yeah.
But if no, then bring up some things they might have seen, might try to jog their memory.
Yeah.
We might have had a seminar just there.
Yeah.
Do you know this business?
Yeah.
They loved us.
All right. Well, we've talked about each calls separately and what you did well and what you can improve on, or your wins and learns, whichever way you want to paraphrase it. So what I'd like you to do from here, Henry, is to highlight on your list there 10 calls that you're going to make. Just those 10 specific ones. And what I'd like you to do is, after the call, as soon as you finish the call, note some jot points to yourself around how that went, and how you could have done that a little bit better. And then in the next session we'll talk that through. I'll just leave you to practice that on your own. And obviously role play is good, but it's not going to give the reality of what you would genuinely have. So what I've got for you today, just to take away, and probably nothing new here, is just some tips for you just to go through when you're doing those target calls. So we'll just run through them very quickly. So it's all about timing. You'll know this, you've heard this from Chris. Tuesday to Thursday between 10 and 2 is the best time to do cold calls. Courtesy, make sure it's quiet. One thing which always works and which I noticed you didn't do today is smile before you dial. If you put your face into a smiling gesture before you pick up the phone, it comes through in your voice immediately. And believe in your brand. You know your brand, it's a good brand, you enjoy who you work for. You've got to get that through to the customer as well. Focus on the goal. So call is not always about a sale. Well, it definitely isn't about selling your role, it's about getting the appointment. So try not to go do too much of a pitch. I know you probably have to in certain instances, but paraphrase your pitch so it's quite succinct and not too lengthy. And ask for an appointment. You did that really well. So not can I meet with you next week? Are you free on Wednesday at a certain time? And I will come to you. You've got your pictures and what to say, so that they're there. Keep it short. It's not a 30-minute call. You've got 20 seconds really to grab someone's attention, and then stick with it. You've obviously got the basics there of a really good business development manager. It's all about you growing as an individual and growing a circle of influence. So today's session was all about planning a cold call, making a cold call, a little bit of objection dealing as well in there. So what we'll do next week is break down those calls you're going to do, look further into your circle of influence, and see if we can expand that for. So really appreciate your time today, Henry. Hopefully you've picked up a few tips and tactics there. You've got those to take away with you.
Listening's a big one that I took away from it. Listening. Excellent. Because that can just get the rapport and bring us
immediately
away.
Builds rapport if you listen. So all I need you to do now, Henry, is just to complete a feedback sheet for this session today, just so we know how we're tracking on the training program.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Henry.
No problem.